Hello, and welcome back to What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are currently discussing Season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows. I'm Raven, my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Alison, and my pronouns are she or her.
This week, we are discussing the What We Do in the Shadows Season 4 episode, Freddie. But before we get into that, into our discussion, just a reminder too, if you haven't already, to hit the follow/subscribe buttons. Leave us a comment or review. And if you have anyone you think might be interested in the show, maybe send us their way. Also, if you leave us a review, we might even read it on the show.
Press all those buttons for us. If you like to hear our other podcast, it's called Mojo Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, where we're currently watching season 4 of the Powerpuff Girls, but we alternate between seasons of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the classic Powerpuff Girls. So if you're more into animated shows, that might be a good fit for you.
Sometimes we even talk about vampires on there too.
This is season 4, episode 9, and the episode is called Freddie. Nadja's nightclub has really taken off and is the hot spot for vampires in the tri-state area. The guide is in charge of turning away the uglies. It's even attracted human celebrities like director Sofia Coppola. I'm just even questioning if I'm saying Sophia correctly. It's like I can't do words. Sophia asked for the celebrity special, which involves draining said celebrity, and it costs $5,000. Additionally, they pulled off Sophia's head and tossed it around. Her table mate thought it was a gag. So there's two men sitting with her. You said you have their names. I do not.
Yeah. The one is another director, Jim Jarmusch, and then the other guy is from a band called Phoenix. His name is Thomas Mars. I'm not familiar with this band.
Okay, I've heard of the Jim guy. I feel like he looked familiar too. Jim, so the band member also is drained. He wanted the special. But the Jim Jarmusch guy, he said he couldn't afford the $5,000. And then he thinks the whole thing is just like an act or special effects or something.
Yeah.
Nadja says celebs haven't caught on yet, so they keep like coming in. And Chloe Sevigny and Fran Lebowitz are expected later in the week. Laszlo says Colin is the reason the club is successful, and Nadja needs to sign a contract in order for him to perform, which makes her furious.
So basically, then, because Laszlo wants to have this contract, but baby Colin doesn't actually care. He's just happy to sing and dance.
Yeah, he just wants to make people happy.
Yeah. Guillermo finally reveals that he's had a boyfriend this whole time, Freddie, whom he met in England. They FaceTime all the time, and Freddie is supposed to come over to visit Guillermo over the weekend. Guillermo is supposed to pick him up from the airport, but suddenly the doorbell rings, and Freddie has already flown in, deciding to surprise Guillermo. Freddie is a little weirded out by the documentary crew, and Guillermo is surprised that Freddie found the place, but Freddie was able to find it from the return addresses on the letters Guillermo sent to him. Nandor wanders by and sees Freddie and says no thanks that he's not hungry, likely raising more questions for Freddie. Laszlo has a giant list of demands for baby Colin's contract, but Colin just wants to sing, dance, and make people smile. Nadja tells him fuck no, the club will do fine without baby Colin, and Laszlo decides to take him elsewhere in New York instead.
Freddie is amazed by Guillermo practically living in a museum while Nandor hovers behind them. When Guillermo reveals Freddie is his boyfriend, Nandor says he's been terribly lonely. Freddie asks Nandor about a Turkish tapestry, and Guillermo says Freddie works for an auction house and is into art. Guillermo says he cares for Nandor and then plays off anything odd Nandor says as him being confused or needing to up his medication. He says Nandor's vampire teeth are a genetic condition. Freddie thought Guillermo worked for the UN. Freddie offers Nandor his business card for if he ever needed help with his art. Freddie says the house is terribly dusty. Keeps making this joke about a Roomba that if a Roomba was put in there that it would kill itself because there's so much dust. So I don't know how many times in the episode he makes that joke, but he says it a couple different times.
Nandor doesn't know what any of that means. Doesn't seem to know what a Roomba is, which I guess not a lot of people probably use that anyways. But he's very charmed by Freddie. Nandor is unable to sleep because of his infatuation with Freddie and is growing extremely bored of Marwa. He doesn't want to cheat on Marwa, but still plots to steal Freddie away from Guillermo. He remembers he still has the tiny lamp from Jin with 3 wishes and uses one to transform Marwa into Freddie. He goes to check on the Jin's handiwork and is delighted to see his Freddie copy in lieu of Marwa. Freddie, too, makes the same Roomba joke as earlier, much to Nandor's delight. Things are not going so well without baby Colin at the club, and Nadja is drinking a lot of alcoholic blood to cope. Laszlo and Colin travel by bus at night, hoping to find baby Colin a gig elsewhere. Nadja holds auditions for another child performer because she's so drunk. She hardly gives any of the children a chance before she yells them off the stage.
Okay, so I don't know. I have Colin sings on the bus, and then I'm back at the nightclub for some reason already.
Yes.
They end auditions. Then Nadja climbs on stage and falls into a drum set. Guillermo and Nandor each take their Freddies around New York. They did eerily similar things like street dancing and seeing Wicked on Broadway. Nadja chucks the kid performer idea and decides to go adult with Les Cirques Erotiques, who are erotic vampire circus performers. Colin hits puberty overnight, much to Laszlo's shock. They still try to have him perform, but his tuxedo doesn't fit, and the audience doubts he is baby Colin. Only one member of Les Cirques Erotiques shows up at the club, Gustave Leroy. Apparently, he can suck his own penis. I don't really know how else to say it without just saying it.
Yeah, there is.
Guillermo returns to the house and finds Nandor with the Marwa Freddie laying on furs in front of the fire.
So, of course, Guillermo's like, what the fuck? He tries to warn the original Freddie not to come in, but he does anyway, and both Freddies do a big scream. The clown guy just has a pretty short performance. I guess for him it's a long one. The crowd is bored, not just because they were expecting this whole circus, and it was just one guy. Nadja tries to set off the blood sprinklers, but they aren't rigged up correctly, and she's shot backwards by a geyser of blood when she, tries to turn the wheel thingy. I don't know what it's called. She tries to get up and perform on stage herself, but it's terrible and nobody likes it. At the vampire residence, Nandor has hypnotized the Freddies to be cool with the whole clone thing, and they play a guessing game against Nandor and Guillermo and keep winning, basically before they can even give each other the prompts, because they're essentially the same person. Guillermo takes Nandor aside and tells him off for not letting him have one thing to himself, especially after all he did to make Marwa the perfect woman, and now he just wants a clone of Guillermo's boyfriend.
I think they were playing charades, but I'm not sure. And then I'm assuming the original plan was not for Freddie to come there. I hope he wasn't going to bring Freddie there at all. I know Freddie's into art, but it just kind of seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think they should have been away, like at Freddie's hotel or something. But I know Guillermo can hardly get time off from his job. Guillermo tries to leave, but grabs the wrong Freddie. Freddie had to go back to England, and Guillermo is left with Nandor and his Freddie. When Guillermo FaceTimes Freddie, the other Freddie hijacks the conversation. Colin now stinks and has acne. No one wants to book Team Colin, and Colin says he will only perform songs by Papa Roach or Evanescence. Nandor realized he was wrong and tried to give his Freddie to Guillermo, but Guillermo said it wasn't the same. He let his Freddie, aka Marwa, go, but left her in Freddie form because she was happier that way. Laszlo and Colin return, but the club is in ruins without a performer. Guillermo goes to England to surprise Freddie, but he's with the other Freddie, and they appear to be a couple. And I put, poor Guillermo. So, Nandor just basically completely ruined the relationship.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of weird that the Freddies are just okay with being with an exact copy of themselves, because it seems like that would be boring and maybe even annoying, because it's just like there would be nothing surprising ever happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe that's kind of reassuring, but also, I don't know.
Once again, Guillermo is not allowed to have
Nice things.
Yeah, nice things or anything outside of his house, basically.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in Nandor here.
Yeah.
And all that crap with Marwa, and then he just let her go. Which at this point it probably is for the best for them not to be together, because he just seems like he's always trying to ditch her. But this is not the best thing for Guillermo.
They never think about what the best thing is for Guillermo.
And I have that Freddie's name is Al Roberts. I don't know other stuff he was in. I hate to be like, well, I've never seen it, so it's not important, but it just wasn't like noteworthy. I kind of feel like I've seen him before, though. He kind of seemed familiar, but anyway, the cameos were kind of neat with Sofia Coppola and the Jim Jarmusch. I just kind of doubt all these people being that excited about Baby Colin, though.
Yeah.
I get that for the vampires, it's like a cool niche market or whatever, but I don't understand, like, Sophia specifically, like, being like, yeah.
Yeah, regular humans, yeah.
Or, like, them having drinks or whatever that the humans are gonna like, so I don't quite understand.
Indeed. It's like everyone is obsessed with Baby Colin. Everyone.
I'm not sure if did they really explain what Laszlo was trying to get for Baby Colin out of that contract? Did he want money? What was he wanting? I don't think they really said.
The only thing I remember is that he wanted to like sell Colin's CDs and merch.
He wanted a merch table.
Yeah.
I think why not? That would have been fine.
Yeah, I think the merch table would have been fine. That probably would have netted them some extra money. Also, unless there's also like only for me and Colin, but mostly me, Laszlo.
But I think I mean, they should be like maybe setting aside some of the money for Colin because he was a minor. I don't really see a big problem there. Unless it was just like a crazy amount that they were asking for.
Right.
Even if they'd stayed, though, Colin would have went through his huge growth spurt. So, it worked itself out, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think they should have just relied on Baby Colin because he is a child and, like, he's not a vampire and he needs to rest and he probably shouldn't be up all night singing and dancing. So they probably should have looked for other performers before this.
Absolutely.
Like the one rapper dude, what was it? Something Sucks. Ricky Sucks. Richie.
I believe his name was Richie Sock or something.
So I'm sure there could have been other performers that they got, or I don't know if there were other kid vampires. I know she auditioned kids, but were they human kids?
But I actually have no idea. I just the one kid. They were like saying like, oh, it's such and such kid and such person is like their manager or whatever, and then the one was just like grandma and grandpa. So I just assumed because of that.
I think their grandma and grandpa brought them or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that probably wouldn't have worked anyway, because they would have had to protect them really well if they were human from being eaten or drained or whatever. And they definitely would have needed, like, time to rest and all that stuff. They wouldn't have been able to perform all night.
Yeah. So I think they were having Baby Colin like perform at like 3 a.m. or something. Like that's when his show started. And I'm like, there's no way a regular kid.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked then. Like
school
at all. The UN thing with Guillermo, I didn't quite catch what that was about.
I guess it's what he told Freddie, but then he was kind of like, but on the weekends or whatever in my spare time, I volunteer to take care of Nandor.
Okay.
It must have been just what he told him in England, maybe, so that was maybe the only cover he could think of, like, yeah, I'm going to be going back to the States, or something.
caring for, like, say someone with dementia isn't like something that would be frowned upon, or like a caretaker for
Yeah.
like almost a historic house or something wouldn't be, other than that Freddie pointed out that it was super dusty and maybe not that well cared for.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure there's a great ending for Marwa, other than that maybe she's happier as Freddie.
Yeah, but she would have been happier in the first place if Nandor hadn't decided to make all these ridiculous tweaks to her.
Well, or just even bringing them back, because it's such a different world now.
Yeah.
She probably couldn't even like really leave the house.
Probably not. Unless they hypnotized her to be cool with modern technology.
He could have just had the Jen killer, like he did the other.
Yeah.
And then there wouldn't be two Freddies, and then Guillermo could still date his Freddie.
Indeed.
He kind of just ruined it by, like, the existence of the second Freddie messed everything up.
Yeah. And then the look on Guillermo's face when, like, he saw the two Freddies together when he went to England. I was like, poor Guillermo.
Yeah, Guillermo even had his hair done. It was, like, extra specially, like, kind of curly and stuff.
He was so excited to go see him.
When they're on the bus, it's just like, I think, a bus. But Colin thought it was a tour bus. Like he's a musician and he's on a tour bus.
Yeah. One of the other things I've heard from the bus ride was then, like, Laszlo was, like, listing off these vampire performers, and they were just, like, all puns on, like, existing celebrities and bands.
Yeah, like Bonnie, instead of Bonnie Raitt, it was Bonnie Wraith. And they used Wraith a whole bunch, but I can't think of what all of them were. But those were cute. And then, I know I said Baby Colin is stinky, and, like, he has acne now, and obviously, like, his clothes don't fit, but he's, like, all sullen and stuff, too. Like, wearing, like, his baseball cap backwards. And
yeah.
When they got back, I think they were at the nightclub, and then Laszlo talked briefly to Nadja, and then Colin's like, can we go? It's like a teenager would. Can we go home?
To be fair, a little kid would probably do that. I'm bored, let's go.
Yeah, but that one used to be his jam, though. He loved performing at the club, but it's like, it's... And then he kept saying, too, before that, guess what? Was he still saying guess what as a teenager?
I think he did, but he did it in an angrier way.
Yeah, he's just like, and guess what?
Guess what? Before it was more like he's about to, like, do a lore dump about one of his interests.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess we're gonna end things here. Next time we are going to be discussing the season 4 finale, which is called Sunrise Sunset. Thank you so much for listening, and if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, comment, review, follow buttons, whatever it's called, on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And yeah, just if you feel up to it, leave us a review or recommend us to a friend. It will really help us to get out there and get to more listeners.
Press all those buttons for us, and don't forget to check out our other podcasts, Mojo Jojo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, so until next time, remember, you're dead and out of this world. Goodbye.
Goodbye.